I'm echoing. Why am I echoing? Oh, here. We will join. We're going to let somebody else join us and give us one moment here.
There's Janelle.
Hi, Maria. Hi, Becky. How are
Hello, how
you?
are you?
I put lipstick on, but it doesn't look like it.
I just did the same thing. I said, after all day of these interviews, I'm ready for no lipstick.
I bet.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
welcome. So, we are already live and we're just getting started. So, very good. We are celebrating a wonderful day of great interviews and a fabulous book launch, and just really grateful to be able to share with all of you your fascinating, interesting stories, and come to this point where it's released to the world and will serve in the way that it is supposed to. So, Maria, for you, what's the name of your chapter, and why did you choose to be a part of this?
So the name of my chapter is To Your Greatness.
I love it.
And I just find it such a privilege to be part of this group of authors. And I find it such a privilege to be working with you again, Becky. And of course, being part of Iman's anything Iman does, I want to be a part of.
He's
So,
pretty cool.
so feeling so privileged to have even been invited. So, yeah, that's the reason I'm here.
That's awesome. And your chapter to your greatness, what's the premise behind it?
Yeah, it's since this is a spiritual story, um, it's a realization that I had about synchronicity of the universe, and I just started noticing how certain things in my life that are supposed to happen, how they perfectly are orchestrated, not by me, in order for them to be executed perfectly. So I chose the story of writing my book, which was a crazy story, meaning I was writing a book without really knowing what I was going to write about.
Hmm.
I got the title of the book before I knew what I was going to write about. And it was a matter of waiting for the universe to bring me the content. And it is such a beautiful knowing to know that anything creative that we do really comes from beyond us, right? When you look at a beautiful painting that's painted or beautiful music made, brought it to us. So,
I think you're
um,
freezing up just a little
so
bit.
in
So
my book,
you're freezing up just a little bit. So we'll circle
is
back around to you for just in just a moment to see if it kind of evens out. Janelle,
it,
thank you for being with us today, and you and I have had the privilege of working together with your amazing, beautiful book, and here we are with another chapter, and this one was completely different.
Yes.
Because of what you had just recently experienced, at the loss that you experienced. Let's talk
Mhm.
about this journey for you and what made you decide to write this chapter.
Mhm. Yes. So when I was thinking about writing the chapter, it was right in the middle of this being of my dad. He had just passed 2 months earlier, and I was right in the middle of walking through that, and it was very real and very present and very raw. And so I thought, well, my mind is not on anything else right now. So why don't I just write about this experience that I'm having? Because as an entrepreneur, life happens, and that's one of the challenges is what do you do when you suffer a devastating loss and your whole business depends on you. And so I was kind of learning as I went along and looking through that lens. And actually, my dad became ill right in the middle of me delivering a live 3-day event. And I was at his house when it became very clear we had to take him to the emergency room, and I had to shut down the event, which that event leads into my higher end program. But I couldn't worry about that. And for the next 2 months, I just did not do much with my business because I made the choice to be very present with what was going on. It was about a 2 to 2.5 week period of time from the time he got sick until when he passed. And I moved in and was his 24/7 caregiver. And that was my whole life during that time. And then, just walking through that with him, with my sister who was also there. And then when I decided to write the chapter, it was still so fresh and raw. And I thought, well, how many of us experience devastating losses or, traumatic events or really times. And so why don't I just write this as I'm experiencing it? So I purposely wrote it in the first person as if it was happening in that moment, because that's how it felt. And I know, from having other losses in my life, how helpful that can be and how comforting that can be to read somebody else's story like that. So I wrote it for my own healing and my own ability to grieve this through, and just honor my dad and the way that he passed and just his life. And then also hopefully bring comfort to others that might be experiencing grief and needing to keep on going, and how do you do that? And so I also shared some of my insights as I was walking through it.
That's beautiful.
What I learned.
That is so beautiful, because when we're an entrepreneur, our livelihood depends on what we're doing, and yet we have that delicate balance, because still first and foremost is our family. And how do we reckon with that, and how do we also allow our own selves the grieving time, the time to just be present and not try to do a million other things, but live in to really breathe your way through it. As your chapter says, just breathe.
Just breathe. That's what I kept saying to myself that entire time. Yeah. I found myself getting lightheaded, and one time I almost fainted and just being overwhelmed with all of it. And then I would just remind myself, just breathe. Don't forget to breathe. So, that whole process of just being present, just breathe and be present. And that's sometimes all that you can do.
Yes. And giving yourself that process of the pause, because it is traumatic, and it did serve in a beautiful way in your life, and there's part of honoring that, and I think all of us face these times, we're all we all, it's the human condition, we come across those times, but from my heart to yours, I know that the pain that it brought you, and thank you for shining a good example for the rest of us. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity, as Maria said, to be a part of Iman's whatever, and to be a part of this book again, and just be in this community of amazing people, human beings. They're entrepreneurs, but they're brilliant human beings who have lived through things, and the stories in this book are so incredible and so inspiring. And I'm just really honored to be one of the people in this group.
That's perfect. I was in it for a number of years, and in fact, the vast majority of books that he's published, I've done them for him. So it's kind of I've been doing an author showcase on my website, and I was kind of, wow, I didn't realize I had done that many books for him. It's it really made me feel good, because the years just go by and you just keep on doing what you're doing, but each of the books have been fabulous as far as what people, the stories, and it's the stories that are the connecting fibers that make a difference in the lives of others. And if we lose that art of storytelling, that's when we lose so much. Okay, Dumont as well.
Story. Oh, there's Dumont.
Just a minute, just a 1 minute. There we go. And let me see if I can get, did I get her in here? No. Did I lose Dumont or Ramesh? No, he's here. Did I get him out? Did I take him out?
Oh, there he is. It's tricky, isn't it?
So we in the middle, and this time, Laura, do you hear us? Okay. Well, she had trouble the last time too. I was hoping that we would be kind of remedied with this situation. Welcome, Dumont and Ramesh, and to join our conversation. Dumont, do you hear us okay? I think she's not. I see by her expression, I'm not sure she's hearing this.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
If somebody could put in the chat for her that if she could hit the gear, and she might be able to work with her audio. So Ramesh, welcome. I don't hear you, so there's something at your audio. If it touch the gear thing, and it should help you to. There we go. All right. So let's see. Well, while they're trying to get their sound, hopefully they'll come up. So Maria, what do you do in the way you serve the world?
So I serve the world several ways. I'm in a corporate job, and I know that shocks everyone, that I consider that serving the world. But right now I'm writing a book called Spiritual Workplace, which basically says that, your corporate life could be a microcosm of regular life. So I'm in corporate, I work for British Telecom, and also I have my own business called We Create Success Now, and I write books. I'm a speaker. I train I have developed a course called Life Transformation Mastery, and offer that. Working on my high-end program, moving, Janelle's direction, and looking forward to continuing to serve the world by putting out there important messages regarding life transformation. It seems that now so many people are looking to make all that pain, all that sadness that is going on in the world go away. And I think together we could really change the world, and change every person, achieve their purpose and achieve their happiness, right? So
beautiful. And I so agree. And I think that by the more of us that stand up and stand in our stories and are on our stories, and just really have the heart to share those stories, because sometimes it's just one person that they hear our story and they realize that they're not alone, and that there's so much they can learn from the story of another. Dumont, are you able to hear us now? I'm so sorry. Okay. No, and neither Ramesh must not have been able to either. Well, here he comes again. All right. Ramesh, can you hear us this time?
Yes, I think I
can't hear you. Go ahead, try it again.
Can you hear me?
Yep, very good. Okay. Well, welcome to our call. And what was the name of your chapter? Oh, all these tickets.
Seems like yesterday and today have been like the tech gremlin days.
The perfect days
Everything
for
I've
doing
been involved with. Got to roll with it, though.
Yeah, that's all we can do. So while we're waiting for him, Janelle, how are you doing now? And what is your overall?
Okay.
There we go.
Now.
Do you want to just go ahead and talk to Ramesh? And come back
something
to
wrong with this here. This is not something. That's not something my computer likes.
It's the way it is. So welcome to our call, Ramesh. I'll circle back around to you, Janelle. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what was the name of your chapter, Ramesh?
Ingredients of success: education, experience, and
Oh, he's cutting out.
You're cutting out a lot. You're cutting out. Huh.
whoops.
Yeah.
Just hold on. I can use another microphone. Okay, just audio
On.
Oh dear.
Well, I can make up a call tomorrow or the next day if for the ones that couldn't. This makes about three or four now that couldn't get things just the way it is.
Yeah.
But if you reach out to me, I'd be happy to do another one of these tomorrow. Okay.
That
All right.
might be better. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. So Janelle, I think the question is, how are you doing now? And what is your overall message to those that would pick up this book and say, wow, this is quite a powerful story? What do you want them to walk away with?
I'm doing okay. I'm still in get it done mode because I'm the sibling that lives near my dad lived here, and I am the executor of his estate. So I'm also cleaning out his house and selling furniture and getting the house ready to sell and all the other stuff. So I've been really focused on that, and I have tried to take moments to grieve. And sometimes, if you've ever been through a loss, it hits you out of the blue sometimes,
Mhm.
and that does happen. And I just take a moment. It's really hard to go into his house and see it get emptied. And that's where the family gathered for holidays. So this will be our first holiday without him. My dad was 98 and he lived a long, long life. And he was very, very happy and satisfied and ready to go. And I know he's with Jesus in heaven with my mom that he was married to for 62 years. That's where he knew he was going. So I feel very peaceful about that. But of course, we miss him terribly. And there are 6 siblings left and lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So our family's pretty large. We will have some fun, and we will also share memories over the holidays and just be together. And so that's how we're walking through this. I'm getting an echo now.
It's like we're in.
I'm still getting an echo here, guys.
So we'll try.
Okay. Bye.
Sorry.
So to answer the other question, I hope that when people pick up this book and read my chapter, that they can see that loss and grief is not something to stuff and hide from. And yes, it's hard and it hurts and the person, but grieving is a natural part of life. Loss is a natural part of life. And I know my dad would not want us to be depressed or, yes, we're missing him and we will, as we missed my mom too. And that's a part of life. And he taught me so much in the way that he lived his life and the way that he also left. And very peaceful and very satisfied with his life. And he kept saying to me during those 2 weeks, just let me go. I was like, no. But, it's totally normal and it's okay to feel those emotions. And so I hope that this chapter helps people to see that. I wrote it purposely as if you were in the middle of it so that not to make people feel bad or feel sad, but to know that, this is a part of grieving, is to talk about it and look at it and feel it and accept it and walk through it, so that's what I hope people can walk away with, and comfort in knowing that if you're going through something like that, you're not alone. And I know when my mom passed, a book that was similar really helped us. It was very present tense and it was very real. And it just brought a lot of comfort because you feel like, well, I'm not alone and I can really talk about this. It doesn't have to be something I hide from, and other people have felt that way and they understand. And so you don't feel alone. And so, and even some of the insights I talk about in the chapter of learning to just breathe and learning to take it one day at a time and learning to be present and to honor yourself and your loved one and just being appreciative and grateful for the relationship there and for the family that came from him, that we still are so very close, and just so much to be grateful for.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
98 long years. It's more than many of us. Yeah.
Yes. And he was healthy and living by himself all the way up to when he got sick, and 2 weeks before he passed
How
away.
grateful. So much to be grateful for.
Yes.
Yeah. We just lost my mother-in-law, but she had Alzheimer's through the last and didn't know us for a number of months, and it was so tough to watch, and because we would drive clear across the city and to see her, and she had no clue who we were. And it was just heartbreaking because I know she didn't want to be here that way,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. So Laura, can you hear us, and can we hear you? Oh, she must be. There's you, Ramesh. I don't think we can hear you. I think we'll just, for both Laura, Ramesh, and Dumont, maybe we can do another one tomorrow. Okay. But for you, Maria, and you're welcome to either stay or leave or go. You're welcome either way, Ramesh. Yeah. So, for you, Maria, as you serve in the way that you do, what's next for you?
So next for me, like I said, is continuing to write and continuing to put the message out there. And what I'm hoping that through my chapter is that people will reconsider what has happened in their life, because sometimes things happen in our lives and we just call them coincidences, where if we take a second look, we notice that they were actually miracles, right? So next in my life is putting this message out there of asking everyone to just take a step back, re-look at your life and look at how perfectly everything came together in order for you to become the person you're meant to become, and how everything comes together in order for you to be able to live your purpose. And the higher purpose for all of us is to make the world better. So some of us say, well, what difference does my life make? I'm not important. And I hope everyone realizes that every single person is tremendously important. And I talk about the synchronization and the orchestration of the universe, where I'm hoping people see themselves as an instrument there to better the world and to make the symphony beautiful, right? So
that's beautiful. I think about that because I think in business, this has been my busiest year ever. And as I wind out this my Friday launch, I had 2 this week.
Wow.
My Friday launch will be my last one of the year till the middle of January, and I am so looking forward to it. But even today, as I'm starting to wind down towards just this final part, it's like all of a sudden I can feel that little bit of quiet and because I've been asking myself a lot of questions through this whole process of being this busy, way busier than I've been in my entire life, and asking. And now that it's just even in the last 2 days where I can kind of feel the wind down, it's like the answers are coming. And before I was getting worried because I thought, well, why am I not getting the answers that I'm, seeking? It's because my brain was too busy and it wasn't listening.
And how funny is that, right, Becky? Because we become so busy because we don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
And the whole time, we don't miss anything if there's quiet, If we make ourselves non-busy, is when we're able to communicate with Source, right? And
Right.
we do miss things because we're busy. If we were not busy, we would not miss the messages and the direction we're always receiving.
Well, it's been fascinating to observe that, because I've had a couple of life coaches that have said, you have the answers within you. Yeah, but why am I not hearing them? Well, we just, so that's the way it is. Well, what a beautiful experience to be able to share this together, and to really watch this take off in the world, and knowing that somebody that opens the pages of their book, they're going to land on the chapter or the chapters that they need to read. Whether they read it from cover to cover, that's one thing, and that's what we invite them to do. But to open up and ask, when they pick up that book, just ask, what do I need to read? What is it in here? And typically when we open it, we land on where we're supposed to read, at least at first. So just feels such a blessing for all of us to be able to give back to the world in this way, because the art of storytelling is such an important fiber of humanity, and we are able to stand up and lead in ways that lets our voices be heard, because truly we become advocates, we become way showers, we become truth tellers, shining the light of truth on a certain matter. Even like for you, Janelle, to be able to, share your perspective on loss and grief, and how you've worked through it. It can really make a lot of difference for somebody else, and then the uniting of humanity at the same time.
Yeah, I would love to add on to that whole idea, the whole thought of storytelling, because what I do now, it's evolved, even since my book came out, and I'm now helping other coaches and experts to speak and tell their stories. And the more that I've gotten into that, the more I see the power in, storytelling has been around since the beginning of time, right? And so, just to encourage anybody really, but an entrepreneur, to tell your own personal story, and to share your why story, and let your people see behind the scenes. Like, me walking through this loss with my dad, when I was sharing this with my potential clients in this event, I was just real with them. And I shared, this is what's going on in my life right now, and I've got to go, but I'll get back with you. And I emailed them and kept in touch with them and finished the event a couple months later. But the beautiful thing in that was that as I shared my story, and as I was real with them and let them peek, behind the scenes to this real person who, is authentically living a life, they became so connected to me and so much in sync with me and behind me and supporting me and saying, we're with you, and we're praying for you, and we're sending you our love, and we'll be here when you get back. And they were. And so it was like this whole thing that I learned outside of grieving was like, wow, if you share your story, and if you are real and authentic with the people that you're trying to serve, you're wanting to serve, they will love you even more, and that you will create these loyal followers because you've let them into your world. And that's what stories do. They let people connect with you on that level, heart level. And that's why I love this book, because you get to see the stories behind the business,
Stories behind the stories. Yeah. That's so powerful, because I think for a long time during my life, I felt like my story didn't really amount to anything, didn't,
Oh,
but then when I finally started realizing how important that story was, and the people that reached out to me, it was just like, whoa, and
yeah.
when you realize that we need, and I'll tell you, I can listen to somebody speaking. If they're telling a story, I'll get wrapped right up into it. If I'm
Yes.
reading a book and there's storytelling woven throughout, even if it's most importantly, a business book, I want to hear the story behind it, the,
Definitely.
the things that connect, because otherwise it's not relatable.
True.
Because so many people feel alone right now.
Yeah.
And, we go through stuff, and most of the times we're like, oh, who cares, right? But we always feel like we're the only ones going through it
Yeah.
until we share our story. And then we realize we're all in the same boat. We all go through
Yeah.
the same stuff as human beings, right?
Right.
So it takes away that loneliness,
It
takes
does.
away
It does.
that I'm alone in the world. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Beautiful.
really does.
Well, I know it's getting to the 7 o'clock hour at your homes, and it's probably been a busy day for everybody. But I am so grateful for this opportunity to be able
Me
to
too.
speak with both of you. And this whole day has been pretty magnificent as far as that goes. As far as really great interviews all throughout the day. And I feel very blessed that way. But thanks to both of you for helping to top off the evening. And we know that this message will have its impact in the most beautiful of ways. Thank you for being who both of you are.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Becky. It's so good to see you again. And Maria, love you.
Love you so much, Janelle. Thank you, Becky. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm hoping to be working with you again real soon.
Very good.
Yeah, I've
Awesome.
got another book in me too, Becky. So
Yeah.
Well, my processes have gotten better, although this one, I started a whole new system, and then I got really busy and didn't get to finish putting all the little intricate things. So I'm looking forward to just having some quiet to get it all finished up.
that'll be wonderful. Well, you do a great job, and just really appreciate you.
Thank you. All right. My love to both of you, and have a good evening.
You
Thank
too.
you, Becky.
All right.
Bye bye.